Let's jump right into filling 4 and 5 with amalgam here. And you can see that while I'm placing this increment, I'm not using the mirror, and that's because I'm sitting at 7 or 8 o'clock and just using direct vision. It's very easy to place those increments and maintain good posture. So that's how I like to do it. And then, of course, once I started condensing here, I did grab my mirror and move back to 11 o'clock. So again, with this final increment here, we're condensing towards the cavo surface margins to make sure that it's well adapted to them. And then after that, we proceed with the acorn burnisher. And this is just very light pressure, sort of tracing the grooves and anatomy of the tooth, and still using the existing tooth structure that's left to help guide the instrument. After that, I like to switch to the super plugger again. It's got a more defined point and edge to it. So I think you can define your anatomy a little better using firmer pressure. And you can sort of see that at work here. And then we're going to proceed with the discoid cleoid. I'll carve the buccal surface. And then I actually think I accidentally edited out the carving of the lingual, but you can see it's finished there. It took probably 4 or 5 seconds. So it's a nice once over with that sharp instrument. Okay, and that looked pretty good. So we're going to move back to the number 3. You might notice I didn't use the PKT3 burnisher on that yet. And that's because I wanted to give the amalgam more time to set. It's pretty easy to fill fast. And so we're going to do that after we fill number 3. Again, I edited the condensing to be pretty short. I think that's pretty straightforward. And the camera also kind of fell off, so the angle on the mirror is not quite ideal. But here's our final increment. We're just condensing against the cavo surface margins again. And now we've moved on to the acorn burnisher. So again, light pressure, just using the tip to trace into the grooves, and then using the sides of the instrument to sort of outline the triangular ridges. And then again, I like to use the super plugger after to define the anatomy a little more. And you can see that sharper or more well-defined edge creates sharper and more defined anatomy. Okay, and that usually creates some flash, so it's important to carve that away. And at that point, my main iPhone that I used to film these died, so I had to use my old iPhone 7 that I filmed the other angles with. But really, it's just a nice once over with the carver on the buccal surface, like you just saw, and then the same thing on the lingual here. The super plugger really does most of the work, creating the anatomy and ensuring that the grooves get to be a nice depth. So really all that's left to do with the carver at this point is just to scrape away flash. And to do that, I'm just making sure that most of the pressure is on the existing tooth structure. I use that to sort of set the angle at which I'm going to carve, and then just do a nice 1 to 3 times carving away that amalgam that's flashing at the margin. So then the final step here is to use the PKT3 burnisher again. And I like to push the point pretty firmly into the grooves and then press the side of the burnisher pretty firmly against the triangular ridges. And again, when I do that, I'm keeping, at least 25% of the instrument on the dentiform. So that way I can use that as a guide. And then you probably saw I burnished the premolar there too. So that's our finished product. Yeah, this is the process that I've found works well for me. The anatomy is well defined. The amalgam is well adapted to the margins of the cavity preparation, and it makes the polishing step very easy. So hopefully that helps you guys, and I will see you in the next video.